Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Cal.
And we are here with our power rankings / news episode for the break. I don't know exactly how we're going to word that, but in this episode, we're going to be talking about some news that's happened since we last talked to you guys after the tournament. And we're going to give you our power rankings for Apac in this episode. And then we're going to have another episode that we're going to be talking about the NA power rankings. They're power rankings, sort of. We're going to talk about the teams. We're ranking them, but it's not like a definitive thing because we didn't do it at the beginning of the year. And everything's been kind of screwy, so we figured this would be a good time to give you our take on where we think all these teams are at, especially since we've had some transactions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, kind of some mid-season assessment of where all these teams are.
Kind of the mid-season where you at.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and we're still waiting on some more news. We haven't gotten an official announcement of what the plan is yet for the remainder of the season.
We know there's going to be a tournament in June or July or however they're going to work, because if they do the same as last month, it'll bleed into the early July.
Yeah, my guess is the tournament itself will probably be 4th of July weekend.
Which I'm down for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it falls on a Saturday this year. I think it would work out pretty perfectly because we know the only thing we know for sure is that games are coming back on the 13th.
Yep. Don't know who's playing who, how structure-wise, or what's going on with that. But we'll talk about that next week because I'm sure they'll have something early in the week. And, the matches are a week from Saturday. So
right.
And we are recording this on Thursday night. It's going to probably Saturday when you get this because there are a lot of things going on right now that we want to,
just
bow
take
out.
A quick second to address.
Yep, and we want to bow out of what we normally do. We probably would have had this up Tuesday or Wednesday, but there are other people that have way more important things to say in this world right now, especially in the United States, than we do about the Overwatch League.
Yeah.
So you guys follow us, a lot of you know us. You know where we stand on this. We stand on the side of Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
And I'm never going to back down from that.
Nope.
Ever. I don't want to hear any other arguments against that. It's just how I operate.
This is something we spent a lot of time right before the show talking about this, and we have a lot of things to say about it, but we're just going to keep it short and brief. If you guys want to hear more of our opinions on this, we'd be more than happy to talk about it. But we're going to save that for a different time, a different place.
A different forum.
Check out both of us on Twitter have been pretty vocal about everything, and pretty much all of my stances are there. So go check that out if that's something you're interested in. I think I've posted some pretty important things in regards to all of this and how we can basically make things better. Because there's a lot of broken things that need to get fixed, and not even broken because in reality it's a system that was built this way, and we need to dismantle it and rebuild it.
Yes, we do. And for those of you guys that are out there fighting, we're behind you 100%. If you need anything from us ever, if you need a forum to speak, anything like that, we're here for you.
Mm-hmm.
And just tell us what we can do. I went pretty much silent on our normal OverTakes Twitter page and clutter up any kind of timelines or anything like that with stuff. I wanted people to know where they needed to go to protest this. So
yes. Yeah, there was much more important info.
Yes,
being spread around over the past coming up on a week now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we stand, guys.
Fight injustice.
Fight injustice. Black Lives Matter.
They do.
That's it.
And if that's not your stance, well, there's other forums you can go to. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
you should really change your stance because you're on the wrong side of history.
Educate yourself. Listen, it's about listening to people, actual people speaking, not people that are paid to tell you differently.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Right. So let's move on to...
We want to bring a little levity to some of the stuff that's happened this week. So we're going to throw some stuff out at you about the Overwatch League, which is what we love to talk about. And it will hopefully bring you some... a little bit of time where you can just get away from it. And then if you need to get back in, get back in. All right.
Right.
So let's hit some news.
Yeah. So... Big news this week, or I guess, I mean, not even really big news. We've had a couple of player transactions overall. So the first one is that it was Monday?
It
was Monday or Tuesday. Toronto picked up Numlocked, which was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That was kind of out of nowhere. I mean, he dabbled in Apex for a little bit too, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, he's an old school Overwatch, competitive Overwatch guy for some of the guys that are newer.
He's been around for pretty much since the inception of the game.
He's a tank player. I think it's something that they need, and I think it's something that they're addressing after they got Cruz, who's very vocal, and Numlocked is known for being very vocal as well. They need vocal leaders, guys that are going to push these guys, because it seems like there are times when they have no drive.
Yes.
In a positive way. They have no one going, all right, guys, let's go do this. And these are those guys. And also guys that are holding them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
On any good team, there's somebody that holds everybody accountable. I've been watching The Last Dance. Michael Jordan held people accountable, but other guys did too. Like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen held guys like Dennis Rodman accountable. And when he was on the court, he knew he had to be there for them.
Right.
They need guys like leaders to do that. I'm not saying Numlocked and Cruz are Jordan Pippen, but by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. But it's a good analogy for sure.
Yeah. They're probably somewhere in the... Never mind. Stockton, Malone. I'm not for that in that level. But...
People forget how good that duo was.
Yeah.
They're the reason they went to 2 finals in a row.
Oh, yeah. They were the reason they were anything for a decade.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, in conjunction with Numlock being picked up, it was official that Gods is retiring from professional Overwatch. I don't believe he's planning on going to any other games. I think he's just planning on retiring from professional gaming in general. Yeah.
Gameplay.
Yeah.
Because he said he wants to continue his career in esports. And he's going to do some streaming because he's a very entertaining dude. And we were talking before the show.
I think he'll do a lot of streaming. I think I could definitely see him being picked up by some organization, whether it's the Overwatch League or a different league, some kind of other kind of different esport. Yeah. I think he'll be involved in some way, but he's planning on, he is retiring from being a player.
He has a lot of knowledge and speaks very well about when he's talking about the game, but he also has enough of that kind of comedy edge.
Yes.
Kind of like Leg Day or Sideshow, like those guys that, can meme.
Yeah.
But their knowledge of the game is insanely good. Oh, and speaking of player announcements and releases, we forgot to mention Sideshow.
Oh, yes. Sideshow and Yaki had their Pharah duel. And Sideshow managed to get the 5 kills he needed
He actually got 4.
4.
Yaki kind of... He did the
Gave
one thing...
another one.
Well, you don't really want to do the barrage because you're just sitting there.
Right.
He did it and he's just like, fucking kill me. That's fine.
Yeah. And that was what they needed, and so he officially got signed to a 14-day contract, which lasted all of 3 hours.
There had to be something weird with that. Like they signed They were like, you have to pay him, right? Or something.
Right.
There's something weird went on. I think it was all in fun. They were probably going to keep him for the 14 days. But I think there was some kind of like legal bullshit that was like...
some kind of league thing where they were just like, yeah, guys, you can't actually do this.
They probably had to pay him league minimum.
Because if you do it, it's going to be some type of like limiting thing to your roster, or it's going to prevent Sideshow from being a talent person again, or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
any number of things it could have been.
And if you have to pay him league minimum, whatever that is, you got to throw $3,000 for his way. Or something or whatever the league minimum is. I don't even know what it is. I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be for. I'm sure there's a minimum for a 14-day contract or whatever. I know there is a league minimum overall. I just don't know what that would be. I know what it is. I think it's like $50K for like a full season, but I don't know what it would be. What that would translate to for a 14-day contract.
Still, you don't want to throw somebody a couple grand for a stun.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, though, it would have been fun if they kept him on and he got to play, like, in a match just for one map. He would have gotten schooled, but...
he would have.
Because I think he had his jerseys up on the site for a minute, too.
They did. I think you can still buy those. Yeah, so there is that. One brief thing I did want to touch on that we didn't have on here as well is that DeFran on Twitter a couple of days ago is retiring from all of it. Like he's not really going to be doing his stream much anymore. All of that. He's actually going. Yeah, he's going back to school so he can basically become a farmer.
So he's
not even necessarily a farmer, but I think like he's going to do something.
He played way too much Stardew Valley for that couple of months there.
I know, right? He's like, basically, I want that life, dude.
I want that life.
And everybody replied with, let's grow, dude.
Oh, God. He does realize there are certain areas of the world where you can grow those plants that he probably likes a lot.
Right. He's pretty close to one. He's just got to move to Amsterdam.
Well, he lives in California.
Denmark. Yeah.
My nephew made a lot of money up there. Let's just put it that way.
Fair.
He made enough that after he passed away, my sister-in-law is still reaping benefits, so to speak, on many levels.
Yeah,
but
so
that's kind of sad. He'll be back though.
I mean, I can't blame him. You could kind of see it, like even with Valorant, like he was really enjoying it, and like, but like bored. You could tell. Yeah, it wasn't even that he got bored. I think he was just like, I think he just lost his passion for like wanting to play competitively.
Yeah, and I think it was that whole bullshit with the tournament where they banned him and all that stuff. I think that just got to him. He's like, is he a little toxic? Sure, but sometimes he speaks his fucking mind,
right?
And what pissed everybody off that was involved in that is he called them a bunch of washed Overwatch League players. So, they got pissy, and since a good chunk of the people in Valorant competitive right now are washed Overwatch League players, we're going to ban that guy.
Yeah.
He's basically XQC of Season 1 of the Overwatch League right now.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, I mean, good for him. I really hope that he manages to find something that he's happy doing.
Yeah,
it's a bummer to not see his streams anymore because he was one of the most entertaining streamers that were out there. So
yeah, even on the ones where he would do stupid shit like karaoke and all that, just fucking. Some of those were almost better than his gameplay because his gameplay was sick. Just him doing the dumb shit
because he's such a goof. Yeah, like I love it. So it's a bummer, but just wanted to touch on that because he is relevant to the league and just the overall
Overwatch community in general.
Community of Overwatch, yeah. So let's move on. We've got some other big move, or I mean, not really a surprise move, just considering the other things that have happened. But Elevote has they mutually parted ways
Yeah.
With Washington. So it was assumed that he might come back to a different team right away, but then he said that he is not really going to play anything competitively, professionally, for at least this year. There is a possibility he might come back next year, but he's just like, I just need a break. All of the stresses of playing this game professionally and everything that goes along with it has just really taken a toll. So he's taken some time, and there is a good chance that he'll come back next year.
Yeah. Well,
which, hey, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you do have to do what you got to do, and also the writing's on the wall when they signed Janu.
Exactly. Which they made it, which was the next thing we wanted to talk about. It is official. We did touch on Stitch because that happened last week or the week before. The last time we talked.
On our stream, in fact, that day I think he signed the full contract.
But they officially extended that same length of time to Janu. So Stitch and Janu are officially part of the Washington Justice, which, I mean, hey, I don't think anybody didn't see that. I didn't think
that was going to go anywhere different.
Yeah.
But we'll see if it pays dividends. There's a lot of internal bullshit going on in that team.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see these guys raise the level of the team. Main tank is the biggest issue, but we'll get into that tomorrow, or on the next episode when we do our NA power rankings. But and then there was one last transaction, player movement thing. Zachary officially retired from Overwatch and jumped to Valorant. I know, shocker.
Yeah, right.
That one surprised me. That was out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, no one figured that guy was going to leave, considering he was. Did he even play at all this year?
No, he didn't play 1 minute compared to last year when he played every minute.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the guy he got a bad rap. I will say that, and I was one of the people that was on them, and I wasn't on him because I was on him because he was not a good Brig player.
Right.
Last year, DPS players was awful.
Yeah.
A lot of that narrative didn't carry over this year, but the DPS was different. There's changing of the guard now. It's something really quick. Guys like Elevote, guys like that was a goats tank. Guys like Zachary, that was, Genji mains and things like this. Different metas. Now we're in this hero pool and we're moving in these tournament things. People are realizing you need versatile players. Specialists are kind of on the outs.
Mm.
Kind of. I mean, you can have those, even guys like Linkser. They're kind of
struggling to get play time.
Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with the hero pools when they ban Hitscan and then he's out. Right now, you need guys that can play Mei, possibly play Genji, play Echo, maybe switch over to a Hitscan and play Ashe or play Tracer.
Mm-hmm.
And Hitscan guys there's a lot of Hitscan heroes, but the relevant ones, there's only a certain few that they're playing. So there's a lot of the newer crop of people coming into the league are more versatile.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing people leave, especially that are of that caliber that were great players, but it's natural selection at a certain point. You have to evolve. You have to evolve your gameplay. And some of these guys didn't, and this is why they're, going to Valorant or retiring, seeing what's going on. Maybe Elevote's going to take a month or two off and then say, you know what, I want to be an off tank, or maybe I'm going to switch to support or something like that, and he's got to work on different things. It's just sometimes you have to be a little more fluid now than before.
Yes, definitely. So that kind of leads into our next thing we wanted to discuss before we get to our rankings. Over this past weekend, there was the show match of Runaway versus Lunatic High. And then also what was it, like up and comers or something like
it was a whole day.
Yeah, because right before that it was Team Toby versus Team
Slime.
Slime, I think. Yeah.
And they had like different, like best of 3 and all these kind of like little things that were going on. Then they had the Lunatic High versus Runaway match where we got to see Bumper again and Runner, and we got to see why the fuck competitive Overwatch viewing was so great, because OGN does a smashingly good job.
Yeah, they do. Their production quality is so unbelievably top notch. Like
it made it feel like it was necessary. Like it not necessary. It made it feel important.
Mm-hmm.
Like watching that match, it seemed like even though it was a show match, it was must watch because the production value on it. It was different than the Overwatch League. When they have to do big stuff, they do great.
Yes.
But they make the little things, the little matches or like, show matches, things like that, feel big.
Exactly.
And I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was a really fun watch. And they had a big twist with
and the
with
viewership was through the fucking roof.
Yeah,
without
the viewership
drops.
was crazy.
Without drops, mind you.
Yeah. And they had a big twist with all of their games in that they had a full, like a ban system that we've not seen yet.
Like, so beyond Fredo's comprehension almost.
Yes. Yeah, basically a lot of people wanted each team bans a character, but it goes into effect for both teams. So in this one, they did it where there was still 4 bans. They started with 1 support, then moved on to tank, then the 2 DPS. But the twist was that each team bans for the other team.
Right. Sort of MOBA-like.
Yes.
If you played League or Heroes or anything like that.
But even in those games, you're banning for everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Never mind. I'm a moron. Sorry. Continue. But I liked it, though.
It was a really interesting twist, and they had some. There was other things to it to prevent certain things. The way they had it structured, tried to make it as fair as possible, because there's certain things where basically like you can completely make one with one ban you can completely eliminate an entire strategy. For instance, banning Lucio,
or Mercy.
Basically, banning Mercy or Lucio especially because he's so vital to the
the rushdown kind of
the rushdown comp with Ryan and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, like,
and then if you ban Mercy, you get rid of like a lot of the Ashe, Pharah, Echo kind of more Pharah, Ashe.
Yeah. Or Echo, Ashe, anything like that. So it definitely added a good twist and eliminates the mirrors, which makes things really, really interesting in how teams are strategizing, and really it forces comps that people would not have probably used otherwise. But it made for some really intriguing matches, and I think, honestly, the best thing to do, I would love to see something like this. I'm very interested. I don't want to see it in the actual game.
And they also had the map loser got to remove a ban?
Yeah, I think there was something like that, yeah.
You got to remove a ban, I think, if you lost a map.
Yes.
So, because I remember seeing someone remove, they had banned Baptiste, and then someone removed them after they lost the map. I'm not 100% on that.
The bans lasted for the first 2 maps, and then they rebanned for the last parts. But the team that lost or was down or something like that, I think whoever lost the last map could remove a ban in the second map, and then they had like first pick or something, or last pick or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the full thing, because it was one of the more complicated ban systems, but it was really intriguing.
It was fascinating, though.
it was really fascinating, and I think they put a lot of thought into how they were approaching it.
Yeah,
and I greatly appreciated that.
Ironically, it was done on a 3-week break.
Yeah,
ironically.
Yeah,
expect some news possibly at some point about that.
Yeah,
I thought it brought some fantastic strategy. Yeah, it was a show match, and they kind of wanted to play dive against each other because that's what they did back in the day. But
yeah,
I mean, like that Toby's team, I think they banned Arisa, Moira.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really fun. And the ban system, I was kind of on the fence-ish, and then I was like, all right, the healer pools are okay, but I liked that. And, people that say it adds to the broadcast, I know, it adds to the strategy of the game, guys.
It does.
It makes it more interesting. Yeah, sure, all right, I want to see every team go out. I want to see Prophet be able to play Tracer. But you know what? I want to see a team playing Prophet going, you know what? We're banning Tracer.
Yeah.
What do you do now?
Force them to play Echo. And then it forces players like that to work on their weak heroes.
Right. Or, you're playing San Francisco, ban Reinhardt.
Mm-hmm.
Get Super out of there. I mean, not that Smurf's terrible on the other stuff, but you don't have to worry about Super going crazy on Reinhardt.
Exactly.
And them running what's in their comfort zone. And it takes teams out of their comfort zone and makes them practice things that they're not normally used to practicing. And it
exactly.
Yes. And it's the one thing that it does. It keeps you out of mirror matches, and it keeps you out of big, long metas.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put it at, like, Grandmaster and above, I think it would be fine.
Yeah.
Below that, it would be, like, in lower ranks, it would be just banning stupid shit, banning Bastion or whoever got the big buff on the patch.
Yeah.
There would be no strategy to it.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't even think it needs to go into the higher ranks. I think it should be strictly for professionals. Maybe if they introduce like a team mode, maybe the higher ranks of that. But yeah, professionals
and more heroes,
tier 2, that type of thing, I think would make it.
Until we get more heroes, you can't do it in the ranks.
Even then, I don't think it's necessary because I think people are just going to play the characters they want to play in regular ranks.
Yeah,
but once you get up into the higher ranks, that's where
strategy
they're going to play. Yeah, the strategy is much more of a factor.
It is a factor.
Yeah, it's the factor.
Yeah, well,
because they can play just about any character at such a high level that.
But even watching streams,
taking advantage of everything.
Yeah, even watching streams, though, you see people still playing fucking Roadhog and whatever they want, like in Grandmaster.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that was fantastic. I think we might see something in the future, whether it's this week or not. Maybe the final tournaments. Who knows? Maybe they do it for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. I'd love to see it for playoffs.
Adds a freshness, and I always wanted the hero ban kind of. I don't know. I was a little on the fence. For me, it was always the amount of heroes because you get into banning stuff, and then it was always if you ban Mercy, you got rid of, like before Echo, you got rid of pretty much Far Mercy, you got rid of a bunch of stuff, but that's part of the strategy, so work around it. I
just love the twist of it's not mirrored. I think that. That brings so much more strategy to how you're going to approach your bands and everything. I love that idea a lot. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to our actual, the meat of this episode. And that is discussing the APAC, Asia Pacific, center, I guess division, whatever you want to call it.
Region?
Conference? Yeah, sure.
The current alignment.
Yes. Yes, the current alignment of the league. And so that has 7 teams. We saw their tournament. And let's dive into that. Yeah, we know all the 7 teams. If you don't, go look it up.
Yeah, and
we're going to go through them.
And the thing is with APAC, and probably throughout the rest of the season, the most consistent thing is every team is inconsistent except for Shanghai.
Yeah.
Which we're going to go top to bottom. We don't need to go bottom up. We're not going to delay the who we think the best is. Fuck that.
Yeah, we already know.
All right.
Well, let's start off.
Fun stuff in this is when you start getting in the middle bottom.
It's the middle. Yeah, the middle and the bottom is where we kind of see a lot of variation. Yeah. But yeah, we already know who the best team in the Asia Pacific region is, and that's Shanghai.
Yep, that's our number one.
They showed and have proven thus far that they are one of the better coached teams in the entire league, let alone this region. They are just top to bottom. Yeah. They have a stacked roster. Their DPS are absolutely insane.
And Fearless is basically literally on some kind of crazy anime redemption arc.
Mm-hmm. And
he's like, I'm not that guy.
Exactly. And they have very few holes on their roster, and there's not too many weaknesses they have either.
No. The biggest weakness is not even a weakness. It's Void is probably the weakness on the team, and it's not a weakness. He's way above average. He's just not like,
and he's even better than he was last year too. Yeah. And he played very well for the Gladiators last year.
And I would call him the Gladiators MVP last year, but
yeah, I wouldn't say he's quite up to the same. He might be. He's probably playing about the same level he was last year. He's just got way more talent around him.
Yeah, he's got guys playing around him right now, and he's got a DPS line that's absolutely one of the sickest in the league.
Yeah.
You got Fleta, DM, Ding, Lip.
Yeah,
they're just ridiculous. I mean, there's so much talent there.
They have literally somebody who can play every single DPS character at
God tier,
such an insane level that this team is basically untouchable when it comes to their DPS line.
Yeah, you can if they had the ban system, it doesn't matter who you ban.
Yeah. Unless it's a thing where like you have to pick who is playing in a round, like in the rounds before, that's the only thing that would screw them over, maybe. But even then, these guys have such flexibility. I think they would make it work.
Guys like Fleta, he's showing people why people hold him at god level status before the Overwatch League started. He is insane. Lip, who I didn't know much about, I was like, well, why are they bringing this guy in? Well, there's a reason why I brought this guy in, because he's keeping DM and Ding on the bench for the most part, minus a few things here and there. I mean, they're just fucking sick on DPS. Their tank line is decent. Their support line is above average, and that's all you need.
Yeah. I would say their tank line is, I would agree with that. They're not like a carry tank line, but they
except for Fearless went fucking ham.
Yeah, there are moments they can have their moments. Right. And then I think the same can be said for their support line. Just top to bottom, this team has very few weaknesses.
Yeah.
And there's a reason they're number one for us, and there's a reason they've won all the games that they have. And everything. Yep. So let's move on to number 2. We both have Guangzhou Charge at number 2.
And for me, it's a lot of the... All right, they lost Nero and Neptuno with the... Neptuno had to go back, and the visa issues and all this kind of stuff that are going on, and weirdness. But they're kind of... The first kind of part of the season when they came back in, they were hot garbage. There's no other way around it.
Yeah.
But they've worked around that, and I think they're playing up to their potential more and more as each week goes on. Yeah, they lost the soul, but I think that was an experience thing more than a skill thing. Because those guys on soul, they've been in the tournament system, because some of these guys haven't even been involved in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Except for last year's playoffs. I think the meta isn't going to matter too much to them. I don't know. All right, I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know if Neptuno is a good or a bad thing. As good as he is for this team.
I think they did a pretty good job of filling in his space.
They played a lot better when he was gone. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, not that he's a bad player. Sometimes there's not a fit. Yeah. It happens in other sports.
Absolutely. You get a guy that is a really talented player, but just for whatever reason, he just doesn't have the chemistry.
Yeah.
Or
Randy Moss sucked ass on the Raiders.
Yeah.
He went to the Patriots, and they went 16-0.
Yeah.
It's just, and before that, he was in Minnesota and was playing really well. It's kind of like that. It didn't mesh.
Yes.
I think. Right now, that's what I'm going with that. But I think there's a lot of potential in this team to do a lot. And I don't think the teams necessarily below them. Well, they could creep up, but, I mean, we're going to get to that. We're going to have a little debate next.
I think there's a couple of teams, the next couple of teams I think have potential to overtake any of these positions, honestly, just looking at their rosters and the raw talent on their teams. But just for whatever reason, something is going on with them that is just not clicking, and they are just not reaching their maximum potential.
Yeah.
So I have at number 3, New York Excelsior.
And I have Seoul at 3. And then our 4s are flipped.
So let's start with New York.
There's something up there, man.
Yeah, there is.
I don't know. For a regular sports analogy, I'm gonna call them this. They are the 2012 to the 2016, 2017 Pittsburgh Steelers. They win every regular season game there is, but when you put pressure on them and they have to win, they do not. They look uninterested, uninvolved, and they lose.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know if it's their play style has changed a little bit. They got rid of Mecco. Hotba's okay. They don't play Bianca. I think Nene being injured and not playing has kind of crippled them a little bit. But there's something missing. Like, they don't finish. Not anger. There's there isn't the desire to just, all right, we got them down, kill them now. They just don't have that.
Yeah, I agree. But
it's they played not to lose instead of playing to win.
Yes.
Well, the difference between them and San Francisco. San Francisco plays to win every game. Yeah. New York plays to not lose. It's a difference in mindset. They need a different mindset. So I think they have the talent.
Where New York, when they get to play exactly how they want to play, that's when they are absolutely dominant.
Right. When teams let them dictate.
Any kind of adversity, that's where you really start to see the holes. And I think that's the problem with them. But at the same time, I have to rank them above Seoul because I still am not. I can't fully believe in Seoul, simply because they have yet to fully prove to me that they can overcome their past, mistakes or just their past issues. Even with basically a completely different roster, we're still seeing the same issues plague this team that have plagued them since their inception of being Seoul Dynasty.
But you can go that way with New York too.
But I'm going to give a little bit more to New York simply because they still have that core. Yeah.
I think the core is old though. There's something about it. But
yeah,
I think there's a higher ceiling for Seoul. I don't think New York's going to beat anyone to win the championship. I think Seoul potentially can.
That's fair.
They could potentially beat, with the talent they have on that team and the way they've been playing in pressure situations, I think they do better than New York. But New York has, on average, a better talent pool. Their talent is across the board more consistent than Seoul, but Seoul has the potential to go higher. New York is what they are.
One thing I feel like with New York, though, is that they do have some moments, and they've shown it this year that they can be dominating. I think it's a matter of getting everybody on the same page, but then also just really
there's no enabling of someone to hero play.
Yes.
And the way things are going with balance patches and all that, you need someone to go ham. You need someone to go Yaki. You need someone to do what Super did in the finals in a couple of the maps.
And I think they are capable of that.
They they like hold back. It feels
if they can finally get to the point where they can fully unleash and play what they need to do, I think they will be. I think they're a very serious contender.
Oh, I think they're a contender. It's just they have to get over themselves as a team.
Fair.
And say, you know what? You need to go out there and wreck people. Instead of saying, you know what, together we're going to do this. It goes contrary to everything I believe in sports, but you have to have the guy that goes Michael Jordan, fuck you, I'm not losing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that guy. They don't have the prophet that's going to go, nope, not today. And it only happens when you get to put Sabiobi in there on Tracer.
Yeah. And to an extent, Sombra.
Yeah. Or Jonak, like when he gets to play Zen. Mm-hmm. But Zen is like a totally different animal now. So I don't know. Do you see where I'm going? Like they.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah. But I do think that there could be some potential changes. I think the Zen buff could make a big difference for this team.
The Genji buff with Who Are You could.
Yeah, that could also make a big difference. If Genji becomes a viable dive pick or just viable in this league again pick, I think that elevates New York quite a bit. Because Who Are You is unreal.
And let's not forget about our boy Prophet's Genji.
Yeah, true.
That's good too, but it's debatable. They're kind of on the same level. I'm just throwing things out there. It's not that I'm anti-New York because I like watching New York play, but I just I get angry watching them going, God damn it, do something.
Yeah, that's fair.
I sound like Ash. Bob, do something.
I understand. I'm kind of with you on that. But then I feel like the same time
Seoul does the opposite.
Yeah, where they have guys who are just always trying to be that guy, and they just lack that consistency. Because there are times where they look absolutely dominant, but then other times where they look like a plat team. They're running
first
in
maps against Shanghai. They look like they could beat any team ever created.
Right.
And then one counter or two counters, and they're in the dumpster.
And you're like, what is happening? Like, are you guys actually a professional team? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I think that's the most frustrating thing I see with Seoul, because that's something that's been pretty consistent for them up to this point, no matter who is on their roster.
Yeah. And they got Slime coming in. I don't know what that's going to do. We've said that a million times, but...
I think it could make a difference, but at the same time, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't.
All right. So let's move on to the next team. We both agreed on this. London Spitfire next.
Yeah.
And it's more on their upside for me.
Same.
They have more upside. With one of the other teams that are after this, there's a caveat. But I think London, as it stands right now, is below... there's a sharp cliff that goes down, in my estimation, in this. Once you get past New York Seoul and you jump down to these other three teams...
Yeah. I would put London a decent step above the bottom two, but probably not too much. But I do think London, they have a lot of talent on their roster. I just think their youth and inexperience is
their downfall right now.
Is very much a detriment to this team.
I mean, they took 2 maps off of Shanghai, which I didn't expect. I thought that was going to be just a roll job.
I did too. That's once again, like they have shown flashes where they could be a very good team. Yeah. They're just, I don't think they're quite there yet.
They're in that
at some point.
They're in that San Francisco season 1 to season 2.
Yes.
Even my team from season 2 to season 3. Yeah, you're in that transitional. They're better.
You see these flashes where you're just like, oh man, this team could be really good, but they don't quite have it all there yet.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm sitting with London. I think they're eventually going to be a very good team, but they're not quite there yet, and they'll get there.
Yeah. Okay.
I think with the coaching they have and everything,
and the organization they're in is a top-notch organization in esports anyway. So that matters. Right now, that stuff matters.
It does. I think it matters now more than it ever has.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You look at the teams that finished well in the tournament. Shanghai, good coaching. Moon. You have Krusty, Kooky with the Mayhem did a fantastic job. It's just Seoul does whatever Seoul does. They have the talent. They should be the best team in the league. But their coaching and stuff like that's a little off compared to the other 3 teams that went to the finals. But
Agreed.
London, I think, is getting up there with talent and coaching and all that kind of stuff.
I just don't. I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
Just because of the other talent in the league, but you can definitely see there are some clear signs that this team is going to be very good. All right, so let's move on to number 6. We've got both of us had Hangzhou Spark. I mean,
I honestly, you guys know my opinion on right now. They're hot garbage. They have Architect coming in. I think that's going to help. Winning attitude, good versatile player, could do a lot of stuff. They're not hot. All right, hot garbage is a hot take. Slightly average to above average at every position. There's nothing that makes you go, eh. But there's also nothing
that makes you go, yeah, exactly. There's no like, oh man, that guy can take over a game and win them single-handedly.
Yeah.
A map. Like there's no guy like that on this team anymore.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes if you get Gouchway on Winston, he makes those plays like that. They're just kind of average to above average across the board.
To really get those moments anymore.
Yeah. They needed an Architect. They needed a guy like that.
I think Architect will make a difference.
That's why there's a caveat for me at underneath London.
Yeah.
I want to see what he does. It's going to take him a minute to get acclimated and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I think it might be a matter of too little too late this season.
Yeah. Maybe they make a run on the last tournament if they do one in July, August.
But even then, I think it's going to end up playing out similar to how the last season played out for them.
Yeah. I don't even think it's going to be that bright.
Yeah.
They won a couple playoff games or matches or whatever. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, they could get maybe a higher seed than we expected them to.
Yeah. They could have a good final run and put themselves in a decent enough position, but I don't think they're going to do anything worthwhile. That leaves us with everybody's favorite team, the Chengdu Hunters.
Yeah. I mean, basically all the same problems that we had with them last year are just coming back threefold because now they're basically forcing themselves to play comps that they're not great at.
Yeah.
They're playing a lot of mirror comps, and
they're trying to do things that they're not built to do.
Exactly. Like this is a team that was built to do the crazy wonky stuff that they were doing last year that was so fun to watch and what made everybody love them so much. But at the same time, they're not there yet.
No. And yeah, they have some guys like Molly and Leave that are really, really good. And, you know, you have Amang and that whole thing. But their coordination is not good. There's just a lot of holes in their game. And in this region, it's not the greatest. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of shit teams in NA, which we'll get to on the next episode. But they would be down there with those teams in NA if they were in NA, or we were playing like a regular schedule, like we were like planning on and all that kind of stuff. They just don't have. They're fun to watch, or they were. Now they're just failing at mirrors. They're kind of like the Valiant in Houston were in the first half of last year, where they were trying to comply. Yeah. And it just doesn't work for them. They have to just do what they're comfortable on, and they play well. And even if it doesn't, quote unquote, work, it works for them.
Yes, exactly.
Because when they win and when they do stuff, they're doing what they're comfortable on. It's not all right, so we're going to mirror the Ash, whatever, or, May Reaper double shield thing.
They are awful at the double shield. May Reaper comp, like they're not good at that at all.
They're good at high-paced, super frenetic comps. They're not good at, or, even if you're not going that, just misdirectional, ball diva with a Farah Mercy, just like weird shit that's doesn't work for most people. They're good at mind fucking people, really, is what it is. When they get them, when they're doing this weird shit and the other team tries to mirror them, that's when they have the advantage. And they've actually taken themselves out of that by going into these, standard comps that they're not good at. They're like buying into the system. Yeah.
And that and to their detriment.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do to fix this team. Because if you're gonna try to do what they're doing, I don't think you can run with the roster you have. But then also I think it's too much to try to force your craziness with everything that's happening with bans and all of that. So I don't know what you do with this team, honestly.
I don't either, because if you're playing them and you have the ban system like they had in the show match, you're going to ban ball. Yeah. First off, you ban ball, and then you maybe ban Anna. I don't even know if you ban Farah, because they're just, because Jinmu's good on a lot of different things, but it's like he's not even a carry DPS. He's a really good DPS on a really bad team. He's kind of like doing almost the Saya player or Logics right now. I'm doing the work. I look really good, but
it's because the rest of my team is so not great. So like basically anything that is getting done is going through him.
Yeah. I mean, Molly has a potential, Leave has potential to be something really special in the league. I mean, he was really good in contenders and all that, but it's not translating on this team. Yeah. Kind of like Agreed. Decay.
Yeah.
Last year.
When he was on
the Gladiators. It just, he's not fitting properly. And, if they just, some people maybe should look into what the Mayhem did. Like, you know what? Yaki's really good at doing this, this, and this. Just let him do that. Yeah. We'll figure something out around that. Like they did last year with Aming. All right, our main tank can play ball. So let's build something around that. They need to do that with Leave and Jin. Like, all right, your DPS are good. Build something around that. Let them do what they do, and then fix the rest of your shit. around it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's pretty much our opinions on those. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If or something to keep in mind for the next week, on Monday, our good friends on the OWL recap. Yeah, OWL recap. I was on it a couple of weeks ago. They are doing their final show on Monday, at least for this season. They're taking some time off because of some in real life goings on. Yeah, they haven't specified yet, but they are going to talk about it on the show itself. And so, yeah, give that a listen. They're good friends of ours. Bob and Mel have done a great job.
Yeah,
every single year. They're huge in the community. I mean, they had Hex on I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And they had Yiska on, and they have a lot of good people on.
Bob has made some massive connections with some of these players.
And they love Overwatch and love Overwatch League too.
They do.
You know, in real life stuff happens, and sometimes you have to step away. And, you know, I just want to say, too, to those guys, you know, thanks a lot for the help they gave us. You know, we never streamed before, and last year we said, we want to stream. We want to do a stream, and, you know, we were kind of failing and stuff, and Bob, you know, gave me some pointers and some tips on some stuff to do, and it really helped out a lot, and, you know, I appreciate it. I mean, you can't get better people than Bob and Mel. They're fantastic people, and, you know, go out over to their show, check them out, say hi, and, you know, we're going to have them on at some point. You know, I told them on Twitter, I was like, hey, guys, anytime you want to come on, open invitation, because they love Overwatch League. They love talking about it, and, you know, they're part of the community, and they just need a little time off. You know, sometimes do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And we wish them the best luck, and, you know, I'll be in there Monday night. I'll be in the chat and talking with those guys, because I love the show. I mean, how many times have you come in and see, like, me and Kel work together? I'll have OWL recap on when I'm doing. I have to rearrange idiocy in my OCD in my backstock area.
Right. Yeah, I put them on sometimes at work as well when I'm there.
Yeah.
At those. So.
Because they always have good stuff to say, and it's always fun. So, you know, give those guys a listen, you know, for their last ride, and at least for this year. And then, you know, hopefully they come back, and, you know, if they don't, they deserve the time off, and we'll have them on for sure. At least I know Bob will come on. We kind of jab at the Houston people, so it's probably hard for Mel. Anyway, but that's going to do it for this one. Everybody on YouTube, thanks a lot. Everybody in podcast land, thank you very much for all your help and all your subscribes and all that. Same thing to all you guys on YouTube. We will catch you guys on the next one, where we're going to be breaking down the NA region, which is good, okay, and a shit show. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll talk to you on the next one.
Catch you guys on the next one. Later.